Okay, going to give a little bit of a half equations how to, because I know that they can be a little bit difficult. So if you've watched my other video and you're still a bit stuck, we can have a little bit of a look of how to do them. So I'm going to start off with a simple half equation first, and we're going to say if we start with a lithium atom and the lithium atom goes to form a lithium ion, how would we complete the half equation for this? Well, half equations need electrons, and it's electrons that we use to balance this out. What we've got in this particular half equation is the lithium atom, and to form a lithium ion, that atom has to lose an electron. So if the neutral atom loses one electron, it becomes an Li plus ion. So that's simple ions. That's something that you learnt about in year 10 at the very beginning in atoms and the periodic table topic. Now, if we look at this particular half equation, we need to complete it by putting the electron where it needs to go. Now, if this lithium atom loses the electron, this lithium is producing the electron, which means that the electron goes on the right hand side of the equation. That is the complete half equation for this particular reaction, because lithium has a charge of 0. There's no plus or minus above that lithium, so electrically neutral, that lithium atom. The Li plus on the right hand side, that has a charge of +1, and the electron has a charge of -1. Now if we look at this in terms of maths, 0 equals +1 -1, well, that is correct. That works chemically, mathematically, that is correct, and that tells us what our half equation is. Now if we look at another example, this time I'm going to go with magnesium 2+. So here we have an ion already, and if we want to look at the half equation for magnesium 2+ forming a magnesium atom, well, for the 2+ charge to go away, we need to cancel out those 2 pluses with some minuses. We would use electrons. So electrons go on the left hand side here. 2 electrons get added to the magnesium to turn this into magnesium atom. And again, if we just check the maths, we have a +2, -2 for the electrons, and a 0 charge for the magnesium, because there's no charge on that. And +2 -2 equals 0 mathematically is right, which shows us that our half equation is correct. Now these are quite difficult, but in these terms what we're looking at is we're looking at taking a magnesium ion, which has an empty shell and a 2+ charge, but adding 2 electrons to it to form a magnesium atom with 2 electrons in its outer shell and be neutral. Looking at it the other way, if we start with a magnesium atom with 2 electrons in its outer shell, those electrons get given away to turn into the magnesium ion, which would have the empty shell because it's lost its 2 electrons, a 2+ charge because it lost 2 negative electrons, and then we're showing the electrons just to the side here. Now to give another example, if we start off with an aluminium atom, which is in group 3 and so has 3 outer shell electrons, if this was forming an ion, it would need to lose all 3 of those electrons. And what it would form is the aluminium ion with an empty outer shell. It would have a 3+ charge because it's lost 3 negative electrons, and we show those 3 electrons on the side there. That is our half equation, but we would just write it without all of the ions diagrams, and so the half equation would be that. A slightly more difficult one would be if we were going for something that has a molecule in it, like hydrogen, H2 forming H+. What we have to do here is first of all balance the atom as we would in a normal balanced equation. So because we've got 2 H's on the left hand side, that would be a molecule that looks like that. We need 2 H pluses on the right hand side. So we have 2 H+. That's like writing H plus H+. There's 2 of them. Then we have to look at the charges. Well, what we've got here is a neutral molecule on the left hand side and 2 pluses, or +2 on the right at the minute. Now the electrons, for something neutral to form something positive, the neutral thing, in this case our hydrogen molecule, that has to lose electrons to become positive. And so we would put 2 electrons on the right hand side. The 2H plus and the 2E minus together are the H2. So the half equation is there, and just to check the maths, we said 0 equals +2 for the H pluses. Now we've got 2 negative electrons. So 0 equals +2 minus 2 is mathematically correct, which tells us that our half equation is.